Have you ever wondered what flies across one of Europe's youngest countries? A land where rugged mountains meet quiet farmlands? Welcome to Kosovo, a place smaller than Connecticut, yet home to some of the most beautiful and underrated birds in all of Europe. From falcons that hover perfectly still in the wind, to owls that rule the night with eyes like molten gold, and tiny songbirds whose voices could melt your heart. Kosovo's skies are alive with secrets. Most people have never heard of these species, but today you will. We'll meet the hunters, the artists, the singers, and the guardians that define this Balkan wilderness. Some are fierce predators that lock eyes with snakes. Others are gentle travelers that return every spring. And a few are so strange, you might not believe they're real. So sit back, turn up the volume, and let's fly across forests, rivers, and ancient hills to uncover 25 extraordinary birds of Kosovo, each with a story that proves nature still has a few miracles left to show. Ever seen a bird that just stops in midair? Not gliding, not falling, just hanging there, wings flapping like a helicopter trying to stay cool. That's the common kestrel, the hovering hunter of the Balkans. This little falcon doesn't chase its prey the way eagles do. Nope, it prefers to freeze in the sky, scanning the fields below for one wrong move, one tiny mouse, one unlucky grasshopper. And when it spots something, boom, it drops like a stone, precise, silent, surgical. What's wild is how it does this. Kestrels have a built-in motion detector. They can actually see ultraviolet light, which reveals the trails of mouse urine glowing across the grass. Yeah, imagine having predator vision that can literally track pee. Nature went full video game mode on this one. You might think a falcon this skilled would be huge, right? Nope, it's barely the size of a pigeon, but it's all attitude, head bobbing in the wind like it owns the entire sky. Even its mate joins in, both hovering together over the same field. A couple's hunt date, Balkan style. Here's the twist most people miss. Kestrels are surprisingly loyal. They'll come back to the same hunting perch, the same field year after year. They've memorized their territory like a GPS locked to home. And if you walk under one while it's hovering, chances are it's watching you, not the mouse. Kinda humbling, huh? So who's the smarter one here? The human who builds drones to hover, or the bird who's been doing it naturally for millions of years? If this tiny falcon can balance in a gusting Balkan wind while scanning ultraviolet mouse tracks, maybe common isn't such a fair name after all. What do you think? Should we rename it the Hover King of Kosovo? Or do you have a better title for this sky ninja? Drop your idea in the comments and get ready because the next bird doesn't just fly, it rules the night. You ever look up at the sky and spot a bird just circling forever? Wings wide, barely moving, like it's running some kind of secret surveillance mission over the countryside? That's not a drone. That's the common buzzard, Kosovo's quiet air marshal. This bird is the master of lazy power. It rarely flaps its wings. Instead, it rides invisible rivers of air, thermals, letting the wind do all the heavy lifting. Smart, right? Why burn calories when nature already pays for the gas? Here's a fun twist. The buzzard isn't really common. Depending on where you are in Europe, it could look completely different. Some are chocolate brown, others snow-white with pale bellies. Scientists call it one of the most variable raptors on the planet. It's like every bird ordered its own custom outfit. Now here's something even cooler. The buzzard doesn't scream to scare prey like a hawk. It meows. Yes, seriously. That high-pitched cry you sometimes hear echoing over the hills sounds like a cat auditioning for National Geographic. And that sound, it's not random. It's part of how they mark their territory. Imagine yelling, "Mine," over and over in falcon speak. They mostly hunt small mammals, voles, frogs, snakes. But sometimes they'll just scavenge leftovers. Efficient, flexible, opportunistic, like the ultimate Balkan freelancer. They adapt to almost any habitat, mountain cliffs, river valleys, even farmland fences. If there's sky and open space, the buzzard is home. But here's the philosophical bit. People used to think buzzards were boring, too common, too slow. Then we realize their flight pattern is pure efficiency. Every circle in the sky isn't random, it's calculation. They're reading the wind like a living weather app. So let's settle a mini debate. Is the buzzard lazy or just genius at saving energy? If you could soar for hours without flapping once, wouldn't you? Next time you see one circling over Kosovo's hills, take a second before calling it common, because what looks simple might just be nature's version of perfect design. Now ready for a taller, sneakier hunter who prefers fishing over flying? Let's glide into the next chapter, the gray heron. Picture this, early morning mist over a Kosovo lake. The water's still, the air's cool, and something tall and silver gray stands motionless among the reeds. Not a statue, but a gray heron, the old fisherman of the Balkans. You know that friend who's quiet all day but suddenly drops a perfect one-liner? That's the heron, silent for hours, then lightning fast when it matters. It can freeze for 20 minutes straight, waiting for the tiniest ripple beneath the surface. Then, snap, its dagger-like bill strikes faster than your camera can blink. Here's the wild part. It doesn't just eat fish. Herons have been caught swallowing rats, frogs, even baby ducks. Basically, if it moves and fits down the throat, it's lunch. Not exactly the elegant gentleman we thought, huh? Now you might wonder, how does it manage those long, slow flights with such big wings? Well, the heron tucks its neck in an S shape, aerodynamically perfect. It's the bird equivalent of folding your arms to save energy mid-jog. Nature's been designing airplanes way before humans drew blueprints. But here's a fun twist. Herons often hunt together, spaced evenly apart like fishermen respecting each other's lines. No fighting, no drama, just quiet professionals doing their thing. Maybe they know patience pays better than panic, and they're not afraid of people either. You can find them stalking city rivers, park ponds, even drainage canals. They've adapted to our chaos. Tall, calm, and just a bit judgy looking. Like, oh, you call that fishing? So next time you see one standing perfectly still, ask yourself, is it meditating or calculating its next victim? Because beneath that Zen posture is a ruthless precision hunter wrapped in feathers. Some call the heron boring because it doesn't chase, but maybe that's the point. Power doesn't always need motion. Sometimes the best hunters simply wait. So what do you think? Master of patience or cold-blooded opportunist? Drop your take in the comments. Now let's trade the lake for open grasslands and meet a bird with a flair for fashion and a haircut worth talking about. The northern lapwing. Ever seen a bird that looks like it's wearing a tuxedo with a mohawk? Meet the northern lapwing, the rebel of the wetlands. Part runway model, part comedian. This bird doesn't just walk through Kosovo's meadows, it struts. Black and white chest, green glossed wings that shimmer like oil in the sunlight, and that elegant head crest, always perfectly styled, even in the rain. Seriously, if birds had hair gel commercials, this guy would be the face of it. But don't let the good looks fool you. The lapwing is a fearless defender. It nests right on open ground, and when a crow or fox dares to get close, boom, instant dive bomber. They'll scream, swoop, and fake injuries just to lure predators away from their chicks. It's like watching a Broadway actor win Best Drama for pretending to be hurt. Here's something most people miss. Lapwings aren't loners. When they gather, hundreds fill the fields, rising together in waves of shimmering wings. It's mesmerizing. The kind of synchronized flight that could rival any drone show. Old farmers used to say, when the lapwings dance, rain's not far behind. And guess what? They were usually right. These birds are living barometers, sensitive to pressure changes that signal storms. Their call? A weird electronic peewit, almost like a video game sound effect. That's actually how they got their nickname across Europe, the peewit. So, yes, you could say this stylish bird literally named itself. Now here's a mini debate for you. Are they brave parents protecting their young, or just overdramatic little drama queens with wings? I mean, faking a broken wing to trick a fox? That's Oscar-level acting. But maybe that's what survival looks like. Flair and fight, all in one package. Either way, the lapwing's charm lies in its contradictions. Elegant, yet scrappy. Flashy, yet strategic. Next time you see one spinning over a field, ask yourself, is that bird showing off or saving lives in style? Because up next, we're about to meet a bird that trades drama for peace. The European turtle dove, the romantic heartbeat of the Balkan summer. You've heard the phrase lovebirds, right? Well, this is the original one. The European turtle dove, the tiny feathered symbol of love, peace, and surprisingly loud snoring. Okay, not really snoring, more like that soft, dreamy turr that echoes across Kosovo's warm summer fields. It's the sound of calm evenings, dusty roads, and golden sunsets. If Kosovo had a soundtrack, this bird's coo would be the opening track. But don't let the romance fool you. These doves are true long-distance travelers. Every year they fly thousands of miles to Africa and back, crossing deserts, storms, and hunters' traps, all to return to the exact same tree where they nested last summer. Now that's commitment. Meanwhile, most humans can't even remember where they parked their car. Here's a twist you might not expect. The turtle in turtle dove has nothing to do with turtles. It comes from the Latin word turter, mimicking their rolling call. So no, these birds don't crawl, they glide, gracefully, effortlessly. But sadly, their love story's in danger. Populations have dropped sharply across Europe, mainly due to habitat loss and hunting along their migration routes. In some places, that soft coo, once everywhere, is now a memory. It's like losing a note from nature's music. Still, if you're lucky, you can spot them in Kosovo's farmlands, perched on power lines or fluttering over grain fields. Pairs often feed side by side, gentle, quiet, as if whispering to each other after a long journey home. So here's the question. Do we still deserve symbols of peace if we can't protect them? Or maybe, like the doves, we just need to find our way back to a world where love and land still coexist. Either way, next time you hear that soft turr, take a second. That's not just a bird calling. It's history, poetry, and endurance in one small beating heart. And speaking of hearts, the next bird we meet doesn't sing love songs. It hunts under moonlight. Time to meet the mysterious Eurasian eagle owl. Imagine hiking through a Balkan forest at night. No flashlight, just the crunch of leaves and the chill of mountain air. Then, from somewhere above, you feel it. A low, rolling hoo-hoo that vibrates in your chest. Congratulations. You've just entered the territory of the Eurasian eagle owl. This is not your average owl. It's massive. 2 feet tall, wings wide enough to block out the moonlight. If Batman had a pet, it would be this bird. Those fiery orange eyes, they don't just look at you, they judge you. Now here's what makes it almost supernatural. The eagle owl can hear a mouse walking under a layer of snow, and it can lock onto that sound, tilt its head, and drop like a silent shadow. No flapping, no warning, no mercy. The forest never hears the kill, just the echo of feathers brushing air. And here's a fact to blow your mind. This owl's grip is stronger than a German shepherd's bite. One squeeze and even a rabbit doesn't stand a chance. Talk about talons that mean business. But there's a twist. For all its power, this predator is surprisingly tender. Pairs bond for life, often returning to the same rocky ledge year after year. They raise their chicks together. Dad hunts, mom guards, and when the young finally fly, you can hear their soft chirps echoing down the cliffs. A monster in the dark, with a heart of gold. Still, people often fear what they don't understand. Centuries ago, villagers called the eagle owl a harbinger of death. Its deep call in the night, thought to be a bad omen. Now we know, it's not calling doom, it's just announcing dinner. So what do you think? Guardian of the night or misunderstood villain of folklore? Either way, this owl doesn't care what we think. It's been ruling these mountains long before humans told stories. And when dawn breaks, the eagle owl melts back into the cliffs, passing the sky to the next winged warrior. Ready to meet him? Because our next bird doesn't wait for nightfall. He hunts with speed and precision under the blazing sun. The tawny owl's rival and the forest's aerial fighter, the pied flycatcher. If the Eurasian eagle owl is the king of the night, then the tawny owl is its wise old cousin, smaller, softer, and a lot more social. Think of it as the neighborhood night watchman of Kosovo's forests. Ever walked through a quiet woodland at dusk and heard that haunting, echoing hoo-hoo-hoo? That's not your imagination. That's the tawny owl. Announcing that night has officially clocked in. It's like nature's version of closing time, only much creepier and cooler. But don't be fooled by the cuteness. Those big dark eyes aren't just for charm. They're night vision goggles, tuned perfectly for low light. Where we'd see shadows, it sees a full buffet. Mice, frogs, beetles, and sometimes even smaller birds. It doesn't chase, it waits. Perched on a branch, silent as a thought. Then, whoosh! It's over before the prey even realizes it's being hunted. Here's a fun twist. Tawny owls are ridiculously territorial. Once they claim a patch of forest, they'll defend it for life. Male owls will literally scream at intruders, a sound so loud it echoes through valleys. Imagine someone yelling, "This is my tree," at 2 a.m. Now imagine it in stereo. That's tawny owl drama. And yet, they're also deeply loyal partners. Pairs often nest in the same hollow tree for years, raising new chicks each spring. They're basically the power couple of the forest, quietly successful, fiercely protective, and probably judging everyone else's flying technique. But here's something weird. People living near owls often think they're hearing two birds talking to each other. In reality, it's one bird calling, and its echo bouncing back the forest itself becomes part of the conversation. That's nature's reverb, no editing needed. So next time you hear that haunting hoo-hoo-hoo echoing over Kosovo's woods, ask yourself, is it calling to a mate or to you? Either way, the forest is listening. And if you think nightlife ends here, oh no. The next bird takes the action to daylight again. With sharp reflexes and black and white elegance, meet the pied flycatcher, the charming little hunter who turns mid-air acrobatics into art. If James Bond were a bird, small, sharp-dressed, and deadly with precision, he'd be the pied flycatcher. This tiny black and white bird may look polite, but when it's hunting, it's all reflex and chaos. A feathered missile darting through Kosovo's forest air. It waits on a low branch, spots a bug in mid-flight, then launches into a twist, turn, and snap. Target acquired. And just like that, it's back on the perch. Calm, collected, like it didn't just perform a mid-air stunt worthy of Top Gun. Now here's the part that always surprises people. This fearless little hunter weighs less than a single AA battery. All that muscle, speed, and style packed into something you could balance on your thumb. Nature loves irony. During spring, males arrive early to stake out territories. Basically, the Airbnb war of the forest. They'll pick the best tree holes, then sit nearby singing their hearts out, hoping to impress any female flying by. Their song, a short, cheerful whistle, kind of like a, "Hey, look at my real estate," in bird language. But here's where it gets spicy. Some males don't stop at one nest. Oh no, they secretly maintain two homes, attracting two mates in the same season. Yes, the pied flycatcher invented bird bigamy. You could say he's equal parts charming and scandalous. Scientists say the females usually find out, eventually. But by then, it's too late. The eggs are laid, the second nest is active, and the male's flying between both like a tiny airborne politician, making promises. Still, you can't stay mad at them. They're beautiful. They eat tons of insects, and they bring that flash of black and white life to every Balkan forest. So what do you think? Clever strategist or smooth-talking cheater in feathers? Either way, he gets the job done and looks very good doing it. And speaking of predators with flair, our next bird trades cunning for pure brutality. It's got a taste for impaling prey, and it's not afraid to decorate its dinner. Let's meet the red-backed shrike, aka the butcher of the meadows. Every neighborhood has that one quiet guy who looks harmless until you find out he keeps bones in his basement. That's basically the red-backed shrike, Kosovo's most polite-looking psychopath. Don't let the sweet little face fool you. This bird might be smaller than your hand, but it's got habits straight out of a horror movie. It hunts beetles, lizards, even small mice, then impales them on sharp thorns, barbed wire, or whatever spike happens to be nearby. Yep, it keeps a pantry of death. Scientists call it larder behavior. I call it the Balkan butcher. You'll see its victims dangling like warning signs on rose bushes. It's brutal, and also kind of brilliant. When the hunting's good, it stocks up for later. A survival strategy Shakespeare would probably admire. Now here's the weird twist. It doesn't eat right away. Sometimes it leaves its prey hanging for days. The sun dries them out, turning them into perfect bird jerky. It's like nature's version of air-dried prosciutto, only much more terrifying. But let's give the shrike some credit. It's not killing for fun. It's an engineer of efficiency. Those spikes, its way of compensating for a weak grip. Unlike hawks or falcons, it doesn't have crushing talons, so it uses tools. Nature's little serial innovator. And then there's the romance part. Yes, even the butcher has a soft side. Males decorate their favorite thorn bushes with food trophies, hoping to impress females. Because nothing says, "I'm a great provider," like a string of skewered grasshoppers and frogs. Still, here's the moral dilemma. Is this bird a monster or a genius survivalist? Are we disturbed because it mirrors something human? We too store food, plan ahead. Maybe the shrike just reminds us we're not that different after all. Either way, next time you walk through a Balkan meadow and see a beetle hanging from a thorn, remember, that's not random. That's art, shrike art. Now, ready to climb a little higher into the forest canopy? Because the next bird doesn't hang its food. It hides it like a jewel thief. Let's meet the hooded crow, the trickster genius of Kosovo's cities and skies. If Kosovo had a street-smart bird, it would be this one, the hooded crow. Half black, half gray, all attitude. Part philosopher, part prankster, and possibly smarter than half the people feeding it. You've probably seen them hanging around city parks or village roads, walking like they own the place. They're the gray-suited hustlers of the bird world. And they always know what's going on. Want proof? Hooded crows have been caught dropping walnuts on roads, waiting for cars to crack them open, then swooping down for the snack once the light turns red. That's not instinct. That's problem solving. That's traffic-based cuisine. And they're not just clever, they're social masterminds. They live in small gangs, share food, even team up to mob eagles. Imagine a group of street kids chasing off a giant bodybuilder. That's a crow versus raptor battle in the Balkan sky. But here's the wild twist. Scientists say crows recognize human faces. If you annoy one, it will remember you for years. Some even teach others who to avoid. So yeah, maybe don't throw rocks at a crow. You'll start a family feud you can't win. Their intelligence doesn't stop there. They use tools, mimic sounds, and even talk with different tones depending on whether they're warning, bragging, or joking. Yes, joking. Researchers in Finland recorded crows playing practical jokes, pretending to hide food just to mess with rivals. That's pure comedy. Now here's something deeper. In Balkan folklore, the hooded crow isn't evil or good. It's both. A messenger between worlds, a creature that thrives where life meets decay, city and wild, light and shadow. Maybe that's why it feels so human. So what do you think? Is the crow a villain wearing a gray cloak? Or just a misunderstood genius who figured out modern life before we did? Either way, when it stares at you with that calculating eye, you can almost hear it think, "Nice phone, human. Mind if I borrow it?" Up next, we trade steel skies for soft songs, because the next bird doesn't trick or plot. It sings like a dream at dawn. Meet the European robin, the tiny voice of hope in Kosovo's forests. There's something magical about hearing a single note break the silence at dawn. No engines, no chatter, just one small voice singing like it owns the morning. That's the European robin, the tiny heartbeat of Kosovo's forests. At first glance, it doesn't look like much. Round, fluffy, with that bright orange chest that seems too bold for its size. But the robin is pure personality wrapped in feathers. If Disney ever cast a bird as main character, this would be it. Here's the hook. That beautiful, soft song you hear at sunrise. That's a territorial threat. Yep, that sweet melody that melts your heart is actually saying, this branch is mine. Back off, it's like hearing a lullaby that doubles as a warning shot. Still, you can't stay mad at them. They're incredibly brave, sometimes hopping right up to people digging soil, waiting for worms to surface. It's like having a tiny, judgmental garden assistant. Dig faster, human. Lunch is waiting. And here's a twist. Robins are fiercely solitary. You'll never see a big flock. Even mates keep their distance outside breeding season, singing from separate corners like romantic introverts. It's a love story written in silence and song. But when they do court, it's tender and almost shy. The male offers food to the female, a quiet gesture that says more than any song could. One tiny seed, one shared moment. And just like that, a pair is formed. Culturally, robins carry a lot of weight. Across Europe, they're symbols of hope, believed to bring comfort to those who've lost someone. A robin appearing at your window? Old legends say it's a soul stopping by to say hello. So what do you think? Is it just a bird guarding worms? Or something deeper, a messenger of warmth in a cold world? Either way, one thing's for sure. When the robin sings, the forest listens. And as its song fades into daylight, another melody takes over. Louder, brighter, more colorful. Let's meet the next performer in Kosovo's chorus, the common nightingale, a voice so rich, it once inspired poets to tears. If the European robin sings like hope at sunrise, then the common nightingale sings like heartbreak at midnight. This bird doesn't just make sound, it performs emotion. Close your eyes and picture a moonlit Balkan forest. The air is still, and then it begins. A rolling melody that rises, falls, whispers, and soars all in one breath. That's the nightingale, the greatest vocalist in Europe. Fun fact, its song has over 200 distinct notes. That's more range than most pop singers, and yes, it can improvise. Every performance is unique. Think of it as jazz, but with feathers. But here's the shocker. This master of melody looks plain. Brownish feathers, nothing flashy, barely bigger than a sparrow. It's the perfect example of never judge by appearance. You'd never guess such passion lives inside something that blends into bark. Poets have been obsessed with it for centuries. In Greek myths, the nightingale's song was born from sorrow. A princess transformed into a bird, doomed to sing forever for her lost child. Dark? Sure. But somehow, that sadness turned into the most beautiful music nature ever made. And if you've ever wondered why it sings at night, here's the secret. Competition. By day, the forest is too noisy. But under moonlight, silence becomes a stage, and the nightingale owns it like a solo artist bathed in spotlight. Now here's a twist that'll make you smile. Scientists discovered females actually prefer males with longer songs. Basically, the more complex his playlist, the better his dating success. So yeah, the nightingale invented the concept of serenading for love way before humans picked up guitars. But here's the question, is it truly singing for romance or for the sheer joy of being alive? Maybe both. Maybe that's what makes the nightingale timeless. A voice that carries sadness and beauty in equal measure. So next time you hear that haunting midnight song echo through Kosovo's valleys, pause for a moment. That's not background noise, that's soul. And coming up next, we move from emotion to pure energy. Meet the common chaffinch, the tiny optimist that never stops singing, even in the rain. If the nightingale is a soulful ballad at midnight, then the common chaffinch is the morning pop song that gets stuck in your head all day. You've probably heard one, that cheerful, bouncing rhythm from the treetops, like nature's version of a coffee commercial. It's bright, crisp, and impossible not to smile at. In Kosovo's forests, this bird is the alarm clock you actually want to hear. The name chaffinch comes from its weird diet habit. It loves picking seeds from chaff, the dry husks left behind after grain harvest. Farmers used to joke that the chaffinch was their cleanup crew. Free pest control, great soundtrack. And here's the fun part. Every male has his own regional accent. A chaffinch from the north sings a slightly different tune than one from the south. It's basically the bird version of dialects. Same song, different slang. Kosovo's forests, a whole choir of accents competing to be heard. Now let's talk style. The males are dressed to impress. Blue-gray cap, rust-orange chest, and white wing bars. It's like wearing a formal suit just to hit karaoke night. Meanwhile, the females, subtler, earth-toned, quietly judging from the sidelines. Classic couple dynamic. But there's a twist. Chaffinches are serial singers. A single male might belt out his tune 3,000 times a day. That's not exaggeration. Scientists counted. So if you ever feel proud for hitting repeat on your favorite song, this little guy's already done it a few thousand times before lunch. They're also fiercely territorial. If another male dares to enter the zone, the chaffinch goes full diva mode, puffing up, shouting louder, turning the forest into a live concert battle. Think The Voice Bird Edition. But maybe that's what makes them so lovable. They bring rhythm and energy wherever they go. Their song doesn't ask you to stop and listen. It finds you. So what do you think? Is he a tireless performer or just a tiny overachiever who can't stop singing? Either way, he's proof that joy, real, noisy, unapologetic joy, still echoes through Kosovo's woods. And speaking of color and charisma, our next guest turns the forest into a fashion show. Let's meet the European goldfinch, the artist with the red mask and a golden touch. If there were ever a bird that looked like it flew straight out of a painting, it's this one, the European goldfinch. Bright red face, golden wings, black and white contrast so clean it almost looks designed. Seriously, if Picasso had feathers, this would be him. You'll spot them in Kosovo's orchards, city gardens, and open meadows. Never alone, always chattering, like a group of artists arguing over color palettes. Their call? A soft, tinkling tiddly-dee-dee, like laughter in the wind, playful and light. But don't be fooled by the fancy colors. The goldfinch is a working bird. Its favorite food? Thistle seeds. That's right. It eats the spikiest, most annoying plant in the field. While everyone else avoids it, the goldfinch digs right in. Tiny beak, perfect precision, no gloves required. It's nature's way of saying, beauty doesn't mean soft. Now here's the fun part. Goldfinches are social butterflies. They travel in flocks called charms. Yes, that's the real term, a charm of goldfinches. And it fits perfectly because when a group takes off together, the sky literally sparkles with color. Historically, this bird was a symbol of joy and redemption. In medieval art, painters often hid a goldfinch in religious scenes, representing hope, healing, and the promise of renewal. It's a little piece of spiritual color hidden in plain sight. But here's a twist. In the 19th century, people actually kept them as singing pets. Goldfinches were taught to pull tiny buckets of water on strings, ring bells, and even perform tricks. Imagine that. The Balkans' brightest wild bird turned into a parlor entertainer. Thankfully, those days are gone, and now they're free again, painting the countryside with motion. So what do you think? Is the goldfinch just a pretty face, or a tough little artist surviving on thorns? Maybe both. It's beauty with bite, the kind of grace that doesn't fade when the wind changes. And if you thought that color combo was impressive, wait until you meet the next one. He's round, pink-chested, and built like a little snowball in a tuxedo. Let's welcome the Eurasian bullfinch, the quiet romantic of Kosovo's winter woods. If the goldfinch is the artist with flair, then the Eurasian bullfinch is the poet who barely speaks. But when he does, everyone listens. Round body, soft pink chest, and a face masked in black. It looks like a tiny bird dressed for a winter opera. In Kosovo's snowy forests, it stands out like a spark in the cold. Quiet, calm, perfectly composed. But here's the funny thing. You'll hear one before you see it. Its call isn't loud or showy, just a soft, flute-like poo, poo. It's gentle, almost shy, like it doesn't want to interrupt the silence. If the forest had a heart, the bullfinch would be the pulse you barely notice until it's gone. Now, there's a charming myth about these birds. People once believed that if a bullfinch appeared near your house in winter, it meant good fortune and peace for the coming year. That's probably because they show up just when everything else feels lifeless, like hope wearing feathers. But don't be fooled by their peaceful looks. Bullfinches are sneaky gardeners. They have a taste for flower buds, especially fruit trees. Apple, cherry, plum, doesn't matter. They'll pluck the buds right before bloom, leaving farmers with trees full of promise and zero blossoms. Cute? Yes. Innocent? Not even close. Still, there's something deeply human about them. They pair for life, move quietly together through the trees, and even feed side by side. No drama, no show, just partnership. They're the introverts of the bird world, loyal, calm, and totally fine skipping the party. Here's the twist. Their color isn't for show. That pink-red glow actually absorbs sunlight better in cold weather, helping them stay warm when snow turns the landscape silver. So yeah, fashion and function. So what do you think? Is the bullfinch the forest's gentleman, or its secret bud thief? Maybe both. Either way, when that soft poo drifts through the snow, you know winter still has warmth left in it. And speaking of rhythm and warmth, the next bird doesn't whisper or glide, it drums. Let's climb up a tree and meet the great spotted woodpecker, the percussionist of Kosovo's wild orchestra. Ever been in the woods and heard that fast, rhythmic rat-tat-tat-tat echoing through the trees? No, that's not construction. That's the great spotted woodpecker, Kosovo's original drummer. This bird doesn't sing, it performs solos. Each tap is a message, a beat in the forest's hidden language. Hey, this is my tree. Rat-tat-tat. Hey, lady woodpecker, check out my rhythm. Tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. Yeah, in the woodpecker world, flirting is basically percussion. With black and white feathers and a splash of red on the belly, it's dressed like a rock star. Part tuxedo, part warning light. And that beak, it's not just strong, it's a biological jackhammer. This bird can hit wood 20 times a second with forces that would give any human a concussion. Yet somehow it doesn't even get a headache. How? It's got a built-in shock absorber, a sponge-like skull, and an extra-long tongue that wraps around the brain. Yeah, you heard that right. Its tongue literally loops around the back of its skull like a seatbelt. Nature's safety feature, version 1.0. And it's not just hammering for fun. Those taps open up insects buried deep under bark. Where other birds give up, the woodpecker's like, stand back, I've got tools. Here's a twist that always surprises people. These birds store food, hammering seeds into tree cracks for later. And yes, they remember where they left them. It's like having 50 secret pantries scattered across the forest. But not everyone loves a drummer. Smaller birds often wait nearby, swooping in to steal the bugs the woodpecker worked so hard to dig out. He does the work, they take the paycheck. Classic workplace drama. Still, there's something deeply satisfying about that rhythm in the woods. It's music, communication, and construction, all in one. So what do you think? Is the great spotted woodpecker a brilliant craftsman or just nature's noisiest neighbor? Either way, next time you hear that tapping, remember, someone up there's working overtime. And speaking of work, our next woodpecker takes it to another level. Bigger, bolder, and louder. Let's meet the black woodpecker, the heavyweight champion of Kosovo's forests. If the great spotted woodpecker is the drummer, then the black woodpecker is the heavy metal guitarist of Kosovo's forests. Loud, powerful, and impossible to ignore. You'll hear it before you see it. A deep, thunderous whack, 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 echoing across the pine hills. Then out of the shadows comes this giant black silhouette with a flash of red on its head, like a coal ember flying through the trees. This bird is huge, almost the size of a crow, and it doesn't peck politely, it carves. The holes it drills are so big you could fit your hand inside. To smaller woodpeckers, it's basically a demolition crew. Here's a fun fact. That bright red crown you see? It's not for decoration, it's a billboard. In bird language, that scarlet patch screams confidence. It says, "This forest is mine, deal with it." But behind that rock star attitude lies a master builder. The black woodpecker's nest cavities are prime real estate. After it moves out, other species move in. Owls, ducks, even squirrels. So yeah, it's loud, but it's also a property developer for half the forest. And this bird doesn't just drum randomly. Each tap carries intent. A slow, hollow rhythm means, "I'm home." A fast, echoing series means, "I'm single and fabulous." Romance, Balkan style, via percussion. Now here's the twist. This big black bird isn't aggressive, it's shy. Despite the noise, it hates being seen. If you try to approach, it'll vanish like smoke behind a tree trunk. For such a powerhouse, it's surprisingly introverted. Scientists say it can chisel through frozen wood even in winter. A beak so sharp it can slice through bark like butter. Imagine waking up every morning, pounding your head on ice, and loving it. That's dedication. So what do you think? Is the black woodpecker the forest's loud rebel, or its quiet architect? Maybe both. Because under that booming drumbeat lies a builder who keeps the wild alive. And now that we've met the architect, it's time to meet the comedian. The European green woodpecker, a bird that laughs at its own jokes, literally. You ever hear someone laughing deep in the woods and swear it's human? That's not a hiker losing their mind. That's the European green woodpecker, the forest's full-time comedian and part-time termite exterminator. Unlike its black and white cousins who hammer on trees all day, this one prefers to hang out on the ground. Bright green body, red crown, long pink tongue. It looks like a parrot who forgot which continent it's on. And that laugh? Oh, you'll know it when you hear it. A loud echoing clee-a-a-a-a that sounds like a villain in a 1960s cartoon. It doesn't tap rhythm, it cracks jokes. Kosovo's farmers call it the laughing bird. And honestly, you can't blame them. It's impossible to hear that sound and not grin. Here's the twist. It's not pecking trees all day because it's too busy doing something smarter. It specializes in ants, tons of them. That ridiculously long tongue, nearly 4 inches, is coated with sticky saliva and barbs at the tip, perfect for scooping ants straight out of their hills. No drumming required, just fine dining, a la ground level. But when danger comes, the comedy stops. Instead of flying off like most birds, the green woodpecker goes full ninja, flattening itself against the grass, blending in perfectly with the ground. It's nature's version of, if I don't move, maybe it won't see me. And weirdly enough, it works. They're shy birds, almost never seen in groups. You'll usually spot one alone, perched awkwardly on the lawn, pausing between laughs like it's waiting for an audience reaction. You half expect it to hold a microphone. Still, it plays a serious role in the ecosystem. A single green woodpecker can eat thousands of ants a day, keeping the balance in forests and farmlands. So yeah, the forest clown is also the pest control boss. So what do you think? Comic relief or quiet hero? Maybe both. Because in a world full of noise, sometimes the best thing you can do is laugh. And speaking of sneaky forest talents, the next bird doesn't laugh or drum. It climbs trees upside down, just because it can. Let's meet the Eurasian nuthatch, the parkour master of Kosovo's woods. If birds had a parkour competition, the Eurasian nuthatch would win it. Blindfolded, you'll spot this little daredevil racing up, down, and upside down tree trunks in Kosovo's forest, moving with the confidence of someone who never checks gravity. While most birds go up, perch, done, the nuthatch says, "Nah, let's try the wall crawl." It's small, barely the size of your palm, but it's got superhero strength packed into that tiny frame. With sharp claws and a grip that would make Spider-Man jealous, it can run straight down a tree head first, then stop instantly, freeze and peek around like it's saying, "Yeah, I meant to do that." Here's a wild fact. The nuthatch is the only bird in Europe that can climb down trees face first. Woodpeckers, tree creepers. All those guys need gravity to help them, but not this one. This bird defies physics for fun. Its name, nuthatch, comes from its clever habit of wedging nuts into bark cracks, then hammering them open with its beak like a tiny carpenter. It's persistence with personality. If it can't open a seed, no problem. It just stores it for later. Winter pantry secured, and it's not shy either. If you hang a feeder, you'll see it dart in, grab a sunflower seed, and vanish like a feathered ninja. 5 seconds flat. Sometimes it even fakes out other birds by pretending to hide food, then stashing it somewhere else. Yeah, even nature has con artists. Now here's a heartwarming twist. Nuthatches are obsessed with real estate. They'll find old woodpecker holes and renovate them. Too wide? No problem. They plaster the entrance with mud until it's the perfect snug fit. It's like watching a tiny HGTV episode. Welcome to my minimalist tree loft. Rustic bark finish, ant-proof door. So what do you think? Genius engineer or control freak with wings? Maybe both. Either way, the nuthatch reminds us that cleverness isn't about size. It's about knowing your tools. And speaking of clever, our next bird takes that to a new level. Colorful, loud, and always one acorn away from chaos. Let's meet the Eurasian jay, the forest trickster with a memory like a thief and the flair of a magician. If the Eurasian nuthatch is the forest handyman, then the Eurasian jay is its master thief, comedian, and secret gardener, all rolled into one. You'll hear it before you see it. A loud, raspy screech. It sounds like a parrot having a bad day. That's the jay. Loud, flashy, and totally unapologetic about it. In Kosovo's forests, it's the drama queen in a pinkish-brown coat, topped with dazzling blue feathers that shimmer like mosaic tiles. But don't underestimate the showmanship. Behind all that noise hides one of the smartest birds in Europe. Jays are planners, hoarders. They stash acorns everywhere, hundreds, even thousands, bearing them across the forest floor for winter. And here's the genius part. They remember almost every single one. Scientists tested it. Jays can recall precise locations months later. That's not luck. That's a feathered GPS. What they forget turns into trees. So yeah, half the oak forest you see around the Balkans, thank the jay. Accidental reforestation, courtesy of a noisy bird with too much ambition. And here's a twist. The jay is a world-class mimic. It can copy the calls of other birds, even hawks. Sometimes it fakes a hawk cry just to scare everyone off the food pile. That's strategy. That's theater. That's chaos. If it had hands, it would absolutely play pranks on you. They're also emotionally complex. Jays can recognize themselves in mirrors, a rare trait in animals, and even hide food differently if they know another jay is watching. Think about that. A bird capable of deception awareness. They understand that others can think. That's philosophy-level intelligence in feathers. So what do you think? Is the jay a genius or just a troublemaker with great taste in acorns? Maybe both, because every great forest needs its trickster, the one who steals, schemes, and still somehow plants the next generation of trees. And speaking of tricky survivors, our next bird may not be flashy, but it's built for hustle. Let's head out of the woods and into the open fields to meet the common starling, a bird that turns teamwork into a sky-wide art form. Picture this. The sun is setting over Kosovo's fields. The air cools, the light fades, and then the sky moves. Not clouds, birds. Thousands of them, shifting, swirling, rippling like black smoke that dances to invisible music. That's not CGI. That's the common starling, nature's flash mob in the sky. It's called a murmuration, and it's one of the most mesmerizing sights on Earth. Thousands of starlings flying together, twisting and bending in perfect rhythm. No leader, no plan, no collisions. Just instinct and coordination so smooth it makes Wi-Fi look outdated. Here's the crazy part. Scientists found that each starling follows exactly 7 neighbors, no more. That's the secret. 7 points of reference create the wave, a mathematical miracle written in feathers. Up close, they look completely different. Glossy black birds with purplish blue sheen and specks of gold across their feathers, like someone sprinkled stars on velvet. And when the light hits them just right, they glow. But these birds aren't just artists, they're survivors. Starlings are master adapters. City, farm, forest, doesn't matter. They'll thrive anywhere. They eat insects, fruits, crumbs off cafe tables, whatever works. They're the definition of, if it fits, it flies. And here's the twist. In the 1890s, someone released a few starlings in New York City just because Shakespeare mentioned them once. Now, there are millions across North America, the ultimate overachievers, or invaders depending on who you ask. Still, in Kosovo, they're pure wonder. Farmers love them for eating pests, kids love them for painting the sky, and scientists love them for defying physics. So what do you think? A noisy pest or a flying masterpiece? Maybe both, because when they rise together, it's hard not to feel something. Awe, calm, connection. Proof that even chaos can find harmony. And as the starlings fade into dusk, a single bird hops by the riverside. Simple, monochrome, but endlessly graceful. Let's meet the white wagtail, the dancer who never stops moving. If birds had dance battles, the white wagtail would take the trophy. No question. You'll see it everywhere in Kosovo, along rivers, parking lots, even cafe sidewalks. A small black and white bird with a tail that just won't quit. Seriously, it never stops bobbing. Walk, hop, pause, wag, wag, wag. It's like it's got its own internal rhythm track. Nobody knows exactly why it wags its tail. Scientists have been arguing about it for decades. Is it communication? A way to scare up insects? Or just pure bird swagger? Hey, I look good and I know it? Maybe it's all three. Despite the playful vibe, the wagtail's life is pure hustle. It's constantly on the move, chasing flies, running between puddles, snatching mosquitoes right out of the air. Most birds wait for food to come to them. The wagtail runs after it like it's late for work. And here's a cool twist. They're long-distance travelers. The wagtails breeding in Kosovo's valleys head all the way to North Africa for winter. We're talking thousands of miles, tiny bodies, huge energy, all powered by bugs. Makes you wonder, how many calories can one mosquito really have? These birds love being near people too. You'll see them perched on rooftops or trotting around outdoor markets like they own the place. They're confident little comedians, half ballerina, half street performer. Some even follow tractors through fields, grabbing insects stirred up by the plow. Smart, opportunistic, and just a little sassy. And here's a fun local legend. In parts of Europe, people believe the wagtail's arrival marked the start of spring. When its tail began wagging near rivers, they'd say, "The ice is gone. Time to plant again." A small bird, but a seasonal signal written into old tradition. So what do you think? Is it dancing for joy or working overtime for lunch? Maybe both. Because if you could spend your days eating and dancing by the river, wouldn't you? And speaking of rhythm, our next bird trades black and white for a touch of mystery. Let's meet the Eurasian blackcap, a singer so smooth they call it the nightingale of the north. If the white wagtail dances to a beat, the Eurasian blackcap sings to a melody that feels almost too perfect. People call it the nightingale of the north. And once you hear it, you'll understand why. Its song starts softly, a few clear whistles, then rises into a rich, bubbling cascade of notes that fills Kosovo's forests like champagne bubbles in sound. It's smooth, it's confident, and it doesn't stop until every branch in the forest is listening. Think Frank Sinatra, but 5 inches tall and covered in feathers. The name blackcap comes from that neat little black beret on its head, a perfect fashion choice for a bird that sounds like it studied jazz. Females wear brown caps instead, more subtle, like they prefer to let the males handle the spotlight. Here's the twist. This bird's sweet voice hides an incredible secret. In autumn, some blackcaps from Central Europe stop migrating south to Africa. Instead, they head northwest to England and Germany. Why? Because smart birds figured out they could survive winters near human gardens and feeders. Less travel, more food. They literally rewrote their migration map to adapt to people. Evolution on fast forward. And their memory? Sharp. A blackcap can return to the same bush, the same branch, year after year, like it has a built-in GPS. They even remember specific humans who feed them. If you're nice, you might earn yourself a personal concert every morning. Their song isn't just music, but it's a statement. Males sing to claim territory, woo partners, and sometimes to start sonic duels with rivals. Imagine two jazz singers in a musical showdown, each trying to out-sing the other. Winner gets the stage and the girl. So what do you think? Is the blackcap a romantic artist or a calculating strategist with perfect pitch? Maybe both. Because in the end, music is survival, and the forest always rewards the best performer. And while this smooth crooner fills the woods with melody, another bird prefers a simpler tune, bright, cheerful, and bursting with sunlight. Let's meet the European siren, the little spark that brings the Balkan spring to life. If joy had a sound, it would probably come from the European siren, a bird that looks like bottled sunshine and sounds like it just won the lottery. This tiny yellow-green songbird is Kosovo's little burst of optimism. It's barely the size of a ping-pong ball, but it sings like it's headlining the forest festival every morning. Its song isn't graceful or polished. It's happy chaos, a fast-rolling see that feels like pure excitement translated into music. Picture this: early spring, trees just starting to bloom, and a whole group of sirens perched on telephone wires, buzzing, chattering, arguing, laughing. It's basically a feathered neighborhood gossip session. And here's a fun twist. The siren's name comes from the word serenus, meaning clear or bright, which fits perfectly. Its voice is sharp, cheerful, and full of sparkle. When other birds are still yawning into the day, the siren's already 3 verses deep into its greatest hits album. But don't underestimate it. This little bird is tough. It spends its winters surviving Balkan chill, feeding on seeds so tiny most other birds ignore them. Patience, precision, persistence, that's the siren's secret combo. And here's something wild. Scientists have found that male sirens can change the rhythm of their song mid-performance to impress females. They literally freestyle. Forget boy bands. We've got bird improv right here in the Balkans. In villages and fields, locals see the siren as a bringer of spring. When it shows up, the cold is over. Its arrival says, "Hey, wake up! The world's turning green again." A small announcement with a big emotional punch. So what do you think? Is it singing for love, showing off, or just celebrating life itself? Maybe all of the above, because sometimes joy doesn't need a reason, it just needs a voice. And speaking of simple joys, our next bird trades color for calm, flash for faithfulness. Let's meet the barn swallow, the graceful traveler who turns migration into poetry on wings. Every spring, right when the fields of Kosovo start to glow green again, a familiar shadow cuts across the sky. Sleek, fast, and glimmering blue under the sun. That's the barn swallow, the traveler who brings summer with its wings. It's one of the most beloved birds on Earth, recognized by that long, forked tail and smooth, darting flight. No hesitation, no flapping frenzy, just precision and grace. You'll see them looping above farms, rivers, and rooftops, swooping low to snatch insects midair like tiny fighter jets fueled by joy. And here's the amazing part. These little birds migrate from Africa to Europe every single year. We're talking nearly 10,000 kilometers, crossing deserts, storms, and entire continents. only to return to the same barn beam or house eave they left the year before. How do they find it? No GPS, no map, just instinct written deep into their bones. Its migration is poetry. Farmers have loved them for centuries. A swallow nesting in your barn was said to bring good luck, and hurting one was considered a curse. They were the original house guests humans actually wanted. After all, they ate the bugs and paid rent with beauty. Here's a fun twist. Swallows can drink water while flying. They skim across lakes or streams, open their beaks, and scoop up a sip without ever touching down. Try doing that next time you're thirsty. But behind the acrobatics lies deep devotion. Swallows mate for life, returning together each spring, rebuilding their mud nests side by side. The same home, same love story, renewed every year. When dusk falls and the air hums with crickets, you'll see their silhouettes tracing golden paths across the sky. For a few minutes, time slows, and the world feels perfectly balanced between motion and peace. So what do you think? Are they just birds chasing bugs, or symbols of something bigger? Endurance, love, homecoming. Maybe that's why we smile every time we see them. Because deep down, we all want to find our way back home too. And that, right there, is how we end our flight across Kosovo's skies. So, after 25 wings, 25 stories, what have we really seen? Kosovo, a small country on the map. But under its sky, a world without borders. We met hunters that hover in still air, poets that sing to the moon, builders that carve homes in trees, and travelers that cross oceans just to return to one familiar branch. Every bird, a tiny heartbeat in this great, breathing wilderness. Maybe that's the quiet magic of it all. They don't know they're symbols of freedom, or beauty, or peace. They just live. And somehow that makes them everything we're trying to be. If there's one thing these wings teach us, it's that the world isn't silent. We've just forgotten how to listen. Every song, every call, every flap in the distance is nature reminding us, you're still part of this. So tell me, which bird stayed with you? The hunter, the singer, the wanderer? Drop your answer in the comments, and maybe, next time you look up, you'll see a little piece of Kosovo flying overhead. Because the sky never forgets its stories, and neither should we.